So.
Well, but you are wrong. I'm sorry, you are wrong because it is important why.
Mm.
What without why doesn't really exist.
Mm.
But there is also a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things.
Mm.
The how is as important as the what and the why, right? It's all
Mm. Mm-hmm.
important. Yeah. Um, if you are hungry, you don't just walk into the supermarket and take the food and put it in your pocket and walk out, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So the how matters. How we do things matter.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
well, I can I can give you my speech on what it is and how it works, but we are you're not ready for this.
Oh.
We are
Hmm.
no we are no longer in a physical world. It's going to sound a little bit strange because
Mm.
we all exist, we all communicate with each other, we all wake up in the morning, we all go to work, we all do the things we need to do each day,
Mm. Hmm.
but everything on that level
Mm-hmm.
is a construct. It's um, it's it's a framework, it's a system, and within that physical system, the things that happen there very much fill our time but don't matter. And now you can say, you can argue that everything matters, right? You can say that everything we do is very important, and some days are more important than other days, and when we help people, it makes a big difference in their life, and those things are true. But we are no longer in a physical reality in this world. This is really difficult. It's a really deep sort of point, but everybody now has to choose between light and dark. The same way that through many times throughout history, people had to make a choice between doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it is clearer now more than ever that there are. It's clearer now because in the past, people they used to hide their negative side.
Mm-hmm.
Now the world has flipped, and
Mm-hmm.
the negative is now cool and positive and trendy and
Mm-hmm.
fashionable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so everybody wears like they wear clothes. Everybody wears this this this
Mm-hmm.
shirt of light or dark, and we are we can only exist around people who reflect our own perceptions of the universe. That's a really strange thing to say, but the world around us is a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
it reflects back to us a lot of the time what we want to see, but it also reflects back to us parts of ourselves. And we see this in our actions with and interactions with other people. We see this in what we understand and don't understand in what they do. And it's a time of gathering where people of similar spiritualities will congregate naturally. Just as gravity pulls things down, people will be pulled together because of their inner subconscious spirituality and understanding of the world. Light will be attracted to light and dark will be attracted to dark. This is the time that we live within right now. This is why the world has so many problems. It's we're outside of the physical world now. It's the problems that we face in the world today are not physical problems. We have enough resources for everybody. We have enough water, we have enough trees, we have enough food, we have enough money. Right? We have enough for everybody. But the world doesn't work, doesn't function. Because it's not the physical that runs everything. It's something deeper and stronger and more powerful than that. And we have a great spiritual blindness in the world where we see the objects and the things. We see the what, but we don't see the why, and we don't understand the how. And we're living in a very one-dimensional world, where in the past, dreams, it was important to manifest dreams and take them and make them real. Now, society and the world is under so much pressure. And the pressure is caused by the physical nature of things, and the only way to escape this pressure is through understanding things at a much deeper level, which is that down throughout history, the problems of history are simply defined as the battle of light against dark. And that which will accept darkness has darkness already within it. And we can't, and it's a great blindness that we all have, because it's very difficult to see. You can't see inside the mind. We can, and very much what the the previous book that I wrote, The Language of Deceit, is very much about how people tell lies, and how in the media they call it marketing and propaganda, and it's there's a lot of, and it's necessary to sell the product, but the product might help, but it's not really what you need. It's not really going to save you. what is going to save you is if you get outside of the physical realm and understand the spiritual realm, because everyone is now caught chasing the physical. The bigger house, the bigger car. And I think you understand this because we talked about this a little bit before, and at some point in time you made a decision to say, okay, this is where we want to live, this is what we want to do. We're not gonna try and climb the ladder to the very top because it's endless and you need to be happy with what you have. And and that's a lesson that most people don't understand until it's too late in their lives. I spent a large part of the last 5 years paying off all my debts. Like not big debts like owing lots of money to people, but you know, when you buy a car and you buy a house and you buy, you know, you have bills to pay, right? Yeah, and you borrow money from the bank and you have to pay the money back to the bank, and the physical nature of all that is very attractive, but it's a trap that it's an endless road, and if you can't say stop at a certain point, if you keep thinking that, oh, I can get this and 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 I can get this, well, you're just taking your own ego or using your own ego to grab everything that you can and take it and make it yours. And this want to have objects, this want to have possessions. It's a great word, possession, because it has two meanings. One is a physical object, and the second meaning is when a spirit, usually bad or evil, takes control of you. Yeah. There's two meanings, a double meaning, possession. It's an object, can be anything, a car, a book, a house, a pen. And on the other side, it's a spirit which takes control of your body. The same way we call alcohol, like whiskey, a spirit, because it takes control of your body and your mind. Yeah. And so with the idea of possession, when you start to think about the objects, then you lose yourself, because another spirit comes and takes over your ideas and your thoughts. You're no longer yourself. You're not on your own road. You have been distracted and manipulated towards a different goal. And the devil deals in distraction. The devil deals in distraction. It's the devil that makes you go, oh, that's interesting, I'll go this way. Or, that's interesting, I'll go this. Takes you off the straight path, off the narrow path, off the good road. There's the good road. And the devil is everywhere around about, trying to get your attention. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Yeah. And what we face today in the world is a culture of people who are not educated in deep philosophy or spiritual ideas which basically tell us there is much more happening in the world than we can really understand. And that if we don't stay on the straight and narrow path, and it's very difficult to stay on the straight and narrow path, but if we don't stay there, then we begin down what is known as the road to hell. And there are so few people now teaching this message. And if they do, people say, oh, they're strange, or they're crazy, or they're, there's no God in the sky, there's just stars. And okay, yes. But to think that we have control, to think that we understand things. I think I've said this before, that man cannot create life. Man can only destroy life. And we think we can create life because we say we choose who lives and who dies, and that's not creation. That's to misunderstand the whole purpose and process of everything. And the little bit of light that we had was, I think, Christian idealism and ideals about God, and now the church doors are closed. Yeah. Think about this. Think about the character of Mother Teresa. Think about the character of Mother Teresa. She is considered, almost a saint in terms of modern religion. It's very strange that opportunity even exists in the right terminology in the modern world, because everything is upside down. But she spent her whole life in physical contact with sick people. That's how she became who she was. She spent her whole life in physical contact with sick people. And she said, it is God's decision. Whether I live or whether I die, I am here to help. Now think about the churches. People are sick, and so they close their doors. It is the opposite of Christian value. It is the opposite of the teachings of the Bible. Any church with its doors closed is the church of Satan. Satan. Satan is the devil. And so everything is once again upside down. Because the church that used to teach you must walk with the sick, for they are us and we are them, is now telling us that you must have no contact with the sick, that they are not important enough, that they don't matter. And this misunderstanding, this not understanding, this inversion of reality is not a good path for us to go down, and it is symbolic of all of the problems that we see happening around us today, where people live every day in fear. Fear is such an extremely negative emotion. It, on a cellular, molecular level, it destroys things. And as in what I sent to you earlier, fear is the absence of love.
Yes.
Fear is the absence of love. Where love is removed or disappeared or taken away, then in that place very often gets filled with fear. And fear will very, very quickly cause you to do the wrong thing. And the ability to manage fear is a skill or art that begins with understanding in the Christian sense that God said, I have not given you the spirit of fear. That does not come from me. That comes from another place. And when people start to act out of fear that this might be the last chance, or fear that they're not going to get something or not get to see something or not get to be with somebody, then they start to make decisions for the wrong reasons. Because we all have, I think eventually, in an enlightened sense, we all have to let go. We all have to let go of trying to manipulate, of trying to control, of trying to that the happiest people that I've met in my life have all been people that never wished to control anything. They never wanted to control anything. Because when we start to want to control things, it leads us into very difficult and dangerous territory very quickly. Take the example of a doctor who knows their patient is sick. Then the doctor has to make decisions which are very difficult decisions, and there's never any guarantee. Things might get better or they might get worse. It's sort of a numbers game that is out of our hands to a certain extent. There are many examples of doctors doing everything right and things still don't work properly. And this is again understanding what we are as people, not perfect, but still needing to try to be perfect. And as I said, the happiest people that I know are people who will just say, let them do what they want. It's not to try to manipulate and not try to control things. And it's interesting because I think that if we let things if we leave things alone, a lot of the time what will happen is inevitable. anyway. Right? You might keep, as a doctor, you might keep a person alive for another 4 hours, or another 6 hours, or another 12 hours, or another 2 days. And it's a very difficult dilemma to be within. I think we should always do what we can. In fact, listen to yeah, a lot of things going on. I was looking today. Strangely enough, I was looking today at the Hippocratic Oath. So, the father of Western medicine, Hippocrates, there was also Avicenna and, there was somebody else in history. Somebody else who collected all the information. My brain wants to say Hermes, but it's not Hermes. Because that's a mythical figure. Anyway, so the father of Western medicine, Hippocrates, who lived 460 BC to 370 BC, he wrote the oath that we use as the model for physicians. And this has been used for thousands of years, right? This has been used for thousands. Why has it been used for thousands of years? Because it's true, because it's good, because it works, because it's moral. It's the right thing to do, right? And he probably wasn't the first. There was probably somebody before him, but we just lost that information in history. So, from the Hippocratic Oath, and it's much longer than this, but this is a key section. With regard to healing the sick, I will devise and order for them the best diet, according to my judgment and means, and I will take care that they suffer no hurt or damage. Interesting that he uses best diet, and that he will take care they suffer no hurt and no damage from the treatment. Yeah. Nor shall any man's entreaty prevail upon me to administer poison to anyone. No doctor is allowed to administer poison. Neither will I counsel any man to do so. No doctor is allowed to advise anyone to administer poison. Moreover, I will give no sort of medicine to any pregnant woman with a view to destroy their child. In the Hippocratic Oath. Yeah. No poison. Poison is not medicine. Okay. There's a lot of obvious things there. I could say. Further, I will comport myself and use my knowledge in a godly manner. I will serve God, not myself, not my organization, not my institution, not my hospital, not the government. I will serve God. Whatever in the course of my practice I may see or hear, even when not invited, whatever I may happen to obtain knowledge of, if it be not proper to repeat it, I will keep sacred and secret within my own breast. I will keep my promises. If I faithfully observe this oath, may I thrive and prosper in my fortune and profession, and live in the estimation of posterity, or on breach thereof may the reverse be my fate. That if I follow these rules, may I live a good life. That if I don't follow them, then I will suffer the consequences of that. We've lost it. We've lost the understanding. that we had in the past.